Oh, hello, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Bakakwadash, double honors to the apostles of GMS who teach and rule well. Salutations to you brothers in the highways and byways. Salutations also goes out to you brothers and sisters that tune in to listen and learn, man. The rest of the hopeful elect. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Malak from the Diligent Soldier Camp here in Boston, Mass. As always, I pray this lesson be edifying to the elect. This is going to be a real quick one. I'm actually between calls right now, and I just have to get something off my chest. I hope and pray that it makes sense, and and that it be edifying too. You got a lot of so-called Black and Hispanics, more than ever, coming out the woodwork. Talking shit basically about this truth of ours, man. You know what I mean? And I don't have a name for it, man, but, it would have probably been something along the lines of you think you know, but you have no idea, or something, along those lines, because you got Jake talking out their neck, man, and you can see the fluoride, fully vaccinated look in their eyes, and even in the tone of their voices, man. That they're completely lost. They think they know something, man. They think they got it figured out. Meanwhile, they can't tell you why what people are in the bottom, so downtrodden, right? Why our women are so delusional? Why our men are so bugged out? Complete demons in both sides, man. And I'm talking about the northern and southern kingdom, man. Because a lot of times you'll hear. You hear us making in these lessons that we make, talking about the end of, right, a nigga woman who basically, or first and foremost would be, so-called black woman, but, a lot of the ways that the so-called black woman carries herself, the northern kingdom women do the same, if not even worse, man, to tell the truth. Me being a Simeonite, I've dealt with both southern and northern women, man, northern kingdom women, and they're all bugged the fuck out, man, including the men from both sides too. They think they know something, man, but it's just a bunch of folly, a bunch of bullshit, and the ones that call themselves Christians or in the Christian church are the worst of them all, man. They go around spewing their bullshit, and, here it is when they meet a man of the Lord, a prophet, they use their whitewashed plantation Christianity talking points to act as if what we're saying is wrong, when it's all facts, biblical facts, historical facts. You know what I mean? Because I understand if it was really just hate without any type of reason, with any type of motive, right? But we bring out facts, and they look at it and talk about it as if it's hate. If you got ladies in churches, women in churches talking about we all come from Noah, so there's really no reason to even bring up race and this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? But scriptures tell you that we all come from Adam, man. But the Lord chose a particular people, and that's a biblical fact. But when you bring it out, it's a problem, because our people are just so caught up and filled with this plantation Christianity that got them convinced that, what they know is the truth, and they can't possibly consider anything that we bring out. Sometimes I get frustrated, man, speaking to Christians, man. I'm not confounded at all, but it's like arguing with a wall, man. There's a scripture that says, let me bring that one out right quick, because I only got a few and that's it, and I'll make it short, promise. It's in Proverbs 14 and 12. It says, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death, man. You over here, talking to men that have shown you nothing but biblical proof, historical proof. Brothers go into other books to bring out, what do they call it? Not usurp. Certain lines or paragraphs, because it don't got to be the whole book. There's nothing wrong with reading books, right? But it's when you're trying to use those books to debunk certain things in the scriptures, or as if you could, use it to prove something wrong in the scriptures, or a teaching or whatever. Then that's really where you're going off, man. Especially when you make all these books like your main focus, when the scriptures have to be the main focus, and everything else kind of, you measure, you read these different books, but you measure it through the scriptures, man. You look at it through the scriptures, right? But the thing is, man, you got a lot of these men and women, going to church faithfully, right, speaking ill about the prophets, man, as if they're saying something that disproves what we're saying, when we tell you that who the so-called white man is biblically, who we are biblically. Well, how the curses in Deuteronomy 28 prove who we are. They even tell you that they were going to be for a sign on this particular people, man, the Israelites. And you do a process of elimination, as we did when we first got back. We got in here, and we noticed that, hey, the only nation really going through this, or people going through this, are so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, Latinos, whatever the heck you want to call them or call yourself, and so-called Native Americans, man, right? Because we know that the bulk of Israelites ended up here in Babylon, man, which you call the U.S. Now, for sure, yeah, you definitely got Israelites in China. You got them in Japan. You got them in all these different places. But this is where they were scattered to also, right? And they were gonna hear this truth through the unicorn, through the internet, and find out the truth. And then that's another thing, right? You have these Israelites like IUIC going to these different countries, not only getting kicked out of them, but cursed out and everything. And we go through that here, But the point is that they're sowing even more confusion, and it directly gives more ammunition to these Christians, that have their minds seared, man. You can't really do anything for them. They have their minds seared, and they hear IUIC, you'll see their mishaps and their problems, man, and they I don't want to use the word capitalize, right? But they use that, man. They fuse them to talk even more shit, man. And the woman always got some bullshit to say, man. I've seen a video by Elder Monactazakbal. He put up 4 Jakes, man, and damn, man, I watched the whole thing, but shit, I couldn't stomach all the bullshit that they were saying. Oh, you're not Hebrew Israelites, you're Hebrew Indians, and some bullshit one of them said. It's fucking crazy, man. It's like what the scriptures say to them is like, when we bring it out, it's not it's not word for word like that. It doesn't really mean that, And when it's a parable, and we're using the parable, they try to say that it's not a parable, that it's literal. It's just frustrating, man. But hey, that's the good fight that we gotta put up with, man. To defend the scriptures, man, to defend the Bible, the gospel, man. So let me see. Let me just bring these last couple scriptures down. We'll close out. Where is it? Okay, this is John, the book of John 8:44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. Right? And it goes on to say what it is. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, right? Because if you hate your own, man, you liable to murder it. to murder them or murder us, right? And what happened to the prophets of old, man? They all got put to death, man. You know, by our people. It was always Jake, man. Even if it was in the hands of other nations, right? Such as Yahushua, you know, Pilate cleaned, you know, washed his hands, and he said he had nothing to do with the Lord's death, but he still put him to death. You know, he had the authority to stop that, right? But we also know that was prophecy. It had to happen. You know, Yahushua is the perfect sacrifice for the nation of Israel, man, that the Lord required, and it satisfied, it appeased Yahweh. That is his son Yahushua was stricken, man, and sacrificed. Okay, so we know that had to happen, man. But our people love the lust of this world, man. The lust that Esau gives them liberty to obtain and to accomplish and execute, man. It says he was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him, right? He's a liar. That's why we call him the devil, and that's why the Bible calls him a devil, right? He's a deceiver, a liar, and that's what our people are under, that lie. But they also push that lie on our people further, right? After knowing what we taught them, what we show them, what we tell them, what we prove to them. It says when he speaketh, Salakia, because there is no truth in him, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. He's the devil, man, that the scriptures speak of, man. You know, this is John 3, and let me start at, let me see, baby. There you go. I'll start at 19. And this is the condemnation that is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. This is why, right? This is why our people don't want to hear us out when we talk to them about these different topics, from the MO to the TB to Jacob's trouble, right? The Lord coming back, man. I asked a Christian one time, doesn't he want the Lord to be back right now? If he knew he was on good graces with the Lord and in good favor of the Lord, then there might be a good chance that he does get delivered. Because, you know, Christians think by just believing in Yahushua or in JC that they're good to go, when that's not the case, right? But the point is, you know, I asked him that, and he told me that he wants to see his children grow old or get older and have grandchildren, and he wants to see his grandkids. So he wants to grow old in this fucking decrepit, decaying society, man, right? Under this rulership of this devil. That's it fucking boggled my mind, man, when after him knowing how I feel about, you know, the wrongdoings, the unrighteousness in this world. You know, he knows that, because he always brings it up, that part, like, yeah, you know, I understand, it's like this and it's like that, man, and I agree with you, man. But there's always a but, right? So he could insert or justify whatever it is that he wants to continue doing over here, because he eats pork, and pork is still unclean. That has never changed. Even if you feed that motherfucker grass, you know, he's an omnivore. He's programmed to eat everything and anything, man, even his own. You know? And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Verse 20, for everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, right? They don't come to us. We can't keep going to them, talking to them, right? Trying to teach them. Why? Because lest his deeds should be reproved, man. This truth of ours holds you accountable, man. And if you don't have that contrite heart, you don't have that repenting mindset, you know, you're gonna continue doing wickedness willingly and unwillingly. And And as the old saying goes, man, when you know better, you do better, right? In this case, Israel just don't know better, man. They think they do. You know, they're willing to go to, you know, to death with that truth, man. I mean, not that truth, man. With what they think they know is the truth, right? Now, check this out. It's Deuteronomy 32:28. It says, "For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them." If it wasn't for the prophets, man, starting with the apostles on down, a great millstone, you know what I'm saying, laboring in this truth for the past few decades, man, 30, I mean, you know, 3, almost 4 decades now, if I'm not mistaken. You know, this latter end of all this, where this truth has sprung out, it wouldn't have provoked these Christians now to go into words and into different scriptures, into the curses. You know what I'm saying? They would have never done these things, man. All they knew was John 3:16, and that's it for the most part. And then give motivational speech for an hour and a half, 2 hours, you know, and made people give up their hard-earned money. You know what I'm saying? Just because they heard something, they think they heard something, man. Yeah, it's just crazy. But nevertheless, let me keep reading that scripture. Deuteronomy 32:28 again. "For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them." Okay? Verse 29. "Oh, that they were wise." Man, if only they were wise enough, right? For what? That they understood this. That they would consider their latter end, man, because the latter end, man, is death for 2/3 of our people. And the great majority of those 2/3 are into this Christianity shit. You can't tell them nothing. They think they know it. Which is why they fix their lips to go online and make videos or lessons, you know, scoffing and trying to ridicule, talk down to, you know, sound as if what the elders and apostles have been teaching, all the way down to brothers that teach the same doctrine, you know, making us look as if, you know, we just dumb, bunch of dumb niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? With long garments or dresses that some of them try to poke fun at, you know, or make fun of, you know. Because to them, the laws are done away with. The Old Testament is none and void. You know, there's even prophecies in the Old Testament that haven't popped off, and the only prophecy these people think that is left is for you know, so-called JC to come back, man. Which is why the scripture says, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you?" You don't know. You know what I'm saying? They think they do. They think they're gonna be raised up in literally a fluffy cloud, where Yahweh Shai, or who the world calls Jesus, is gonna be half naked up there with a bunch of babies floating around, you know, or maybe he'll be fully clothed with the toga, which was a Roman garments, you know what I'm saying, or Roman attire, not Hebrew Israelite attire, man. That wasn't our the way we dressed. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna be ending it off soon. Let me see. You know what? I'ma just leave it at that. You know, I'm in the highway right now. So I had to cut the video or the audio and pick up, you know, just a couple minutes ago, because I got a call out of the blue, man. But you know, I pray that this lesson was edifying, man. You know, you know, Jay gotta come out of that, man. Jay gotta come out of that Christianity, plantation Christianity mindset, man, where they think they know, you know, more than the prophets, when they're learning from the prophets, even though they won't even admit that, man. So I pray this lesson was edifying. In closing, I want to give all honors and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles who for teaching. Rule well. Salutations to you brothers in the highways and byways. Salutations also goes out to you brothers and few sisters that tune in to listen and learn, man. To you all, I say shalom.